This $90 fan cools your entire house for 5 cents an hour using nothing but night air. It moves more air in 1 minute than your air conditioner moves in 10, on a tenth of the electricity. Yet despite cooling homes for a century before air conditioning existed, almost nobody under 50 has ever seen one. It's called a whole house fan. By the end, you'll know what it is, how it works, and how to install your own in one weekend. Let's dive in. Right now, the biggest single number on your summer electric bill is the air conditioner. A typical central system draws around 3,500 watts while the compressor runs. At average American rates, that is 40 to 50 cents for every single hour. Run it through the night, 8 hours, and you're paying $3 to $4 just to sleep. Stretch that across a cooling season, and the night hours alone can cost you more than $100 a month. And the meter is only getting hungrier. Utilities across the country are moving to time-of-use pricing, where evening hours cost the most, sometimes double the daytime rate. Those premium hours are exactly when your compressor works hardest, which means the bill is engineered to climb with the thermometer. Residential electricity rates themselves have risen around 30% in a decade, with summer leading the way. Every plan the industry offers you for this problem involves buying a newer, larger, more expensive version of the same machine. Nobody hands you the version that costs $90 because there is nothing behind it to finance. And here is the absurd part. You're paying that money at the exact hours when cooling is free outside your walls. Across most of the country, summer nights drop into the 60s, while your machine burns money manufacturing 74-degree air. The coolest, cleanest air of the entire day flows right past your sealed windows, and not 1 cubic foot of it gets in. Think about what your grandparents' house did on a night like this. Every window open, a fan humming in the hall, curtains moving, the whole structure breathing with the evening. Then compare it to yours, sealed like a thermos at 8 in the evening, while the outdoor thermometer reads 68. Somewhere between those two houses, the simplest cooling strategy in American history was traded away, and nobody asked you. When you see why that is, and why no cooling contractor will ever suggest the fix, you'll understand how this industry actually earns its money. There is a second cost nobody bills you for directly. Compressors wear out by the start cycle. Every restart stresses the capacitor, the motor windings, and the refrigerant loop. And when a central system finally dies, replacement quotes now run $8,000 to $12,000. Every night hour you shift off that compressor is life you're adding back to the most expensive machine attached to your house. The whole house fan shifts those hours for pocket change. It is a large, simple fan mounted in a hallway ceiling that pulls the night in through every open window and throws the day's heat out through the attic. No refrigerant, no ducts, no contractor. And the reason it costs $90 instead of $900 is a design that was already finished in the 1930s. Straight ahead is the physics, because once you see the attic numbers, your house will never look the same to you. Start above your head. On a 95-degree afternoon, the air in your attic reaches 130 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. That superheated mass sits on top of your ceiling all evening, radiating heat down into your bedrooms for hours after sunset. It is the reason the upstairs feels like an oven at 10 at night when the backyard already feels pleasant. Stand on a ladder and put your palm flat against a bedroom ceiling at 9 in the evening. It will be warm to the touch, sometimes startlingly warm, and every square foot of it is a stovetop set on low above your bed. Your air conditioner fights that radiator from below, all night, at full price. A whole house fan attacks it directly. The fan sits in a framed opening in the ceiling of a central hallway, blowing upward into the attic. Flip the switch with a few windows cracked, and two things happen at once. Cool outside air pours in through every open window, sweeps through every room, and gets drawn toward the hallway. And the attic pressurizes, forcing that 140-degree air out through the soffit and gable vents. One machine, two jobs, no ductwork. The numbers sound wrong until you check them. A modest whole house fan moves 2,000 to 3,000 cubic feet of air per minute on 200 to 300 watts. That is, the entire air volume of an average house exchanged every 3 to 4 minutes. Your central air conditioner, drawing 10 times the power, never brings in a single cubic foot of outside air. It recirculates and refrigerates the same stale air over and over at 40 cents an hour. There is a bonus your thermostat will never measure. Moving air feels cooler than still air at the same temperature because a breeze strips heat off your skin. A gentle indoor airflow reads 4 to 6 degrees cooler to your body. The fan delivers that sensation to every room with an open window, which is why people sleep with them running on nights the thermometer says they shouldn't. The deeper trick is thermal mass. Hours of night air washing over your drywall, framing, floors, and furniture pulls the stored heat of the day out of the structure itself. By morning, the whole house has been discharged like a battery, and it coasts cool through midday with the windows shut tight. You're not just cooling air, you're pre-cooling the building. There is also a steering wheel hiding in this system, and it costs nothing. The fan pulls hardest from whichever windows you open, so you choose where the river flows. Open only the bedroom windows at night, and the entire current of cool air sweeps across the beds on its way to the hallway. Open the kitchen window after cooking, and the fan strips out the heat and the smells in minutes. No dampers, no zone boards, no $4,000 controls package. You steer a whole house fan with your fingertips, one window latch at a time. Now, if you're thinking a fan cannot genuinely stand in for refrigeration, the Department of Energy disagrees with you in writing. Its own guidance lists whole house fans as a substitute for air conditioning for much of the summer across most of the country. Not a supplement, a substitute. And wait until you see the install, because the hardest part is cutting one rectangle between two ceiling joists. This machine is not an invention, it is a resurrection. Before 1950, giant belt-driven attic fans were how the American South slept. Companies like Emerson and Hunter built them by the hundreds of thousands, and on summer nights, entire neighborhoods hummed with them, windows up, curtains breathing. Then, Willis Carrier's refrigeration went residential. Electricity was cheap, and tract builders found it faster to seal the box and bolt a compressor to the side. The fans didn't fail, they were dropped from the catalog. Look at what was lost in that trade. Those old belt-drive giants ran on a fraction of a horsepower, lasted half a century, and were serviced with a screwdriver and a few drops of oil. The machine that replaced them costs 100 times more, lasts 15 years on a good day, and cannot legally be opened without a license. Progress is supposed to run in the other direction. The physics never left. A handful of utilities in California's hot Central Valley still pay customers rebates to install whole house fans today. A fan that shaves evening peak demand is worth real cash to the grid. And yet the odds are your own cooling contractor has never once said the words to you. The reason has nothing to do with whether it works, and everything to do with who gets paid. Here's what it looks like in the one place it never died. In Davis, California, summer days hit the hundreds and nights fall into the 50s, and whole house fans are close to standard equipment on older homes. Homeowners there run the fan through the evening, charge the house full of cool, and leave the air conditioner off until the next afternoon, if it comes on at all. The routine takes less thought than locking the front door. Windows open at dusk, switch on, and by bedtime the whole house has traded its stored heat for night air. Families in that valley routinely cut their summer cooling use in half or better, with a machine drawing less than a coffee maker. If you want to power, heat, and cool your home off-grid, the Passive House files show you how. Full plans, exact materials, and the honest numbers nobody else gives you. It's not too late to start lowering your bill. Scan the QR code and see for yourself. And the grid itself will vouch for the math. The Sacramento area utility literally pays its customers cash rebates for installing whole house fans, one of the few machines ever subsidized for using less technology. Farther east, in older neighborhoods from Texas to Georgia, original 1940s attic fans are still turning on their original motors, 80 summers in. And the modern retrofit logs read the same everywhere. A 300-watt fan stands in for a 3,500-watt compressor, 8 hours a night. That is roughly a 90% cut in cooling power every night it runs. Put numbers on an average July, and that is $2 to $3 saved per night. $60 to $90 in a month from a $90 machine, which means the fan can pay for its entire install, parts, wire, cover and all, inside its first 6 weeks of summer. Every season after that is profit. Very few $90 objects on Earth return money at that rate, and your utility knows it, which is exactly why the rebate checks exist where they exist. And one town in one valley is only the visible tip. What this proves is bigger. For most of the country, on most summer nights, refrigeration is optional. So why did you have to hear this from a video instead of from your contractor? Follow the money through 3 doors. Door 1, the sales economics. A cooling contractor earns his living on tonnage. A new central system is an $8,000 ticket with financing attached and a service plan behind it. A whole house fan is a $90 box with a weekend of your own labor attached. There is no commission on the second one, so it does not exist in the pitch. Door 2, the incentive structure. The federal energy tax credit pays up to $2,000 toward a heat pump. It pays exactly nothing toward a fan and an open window, because the credit is written around certified, rated equipment. No efficiency label exists for night air, so the rebate system cannot see it, outside those few California utilities that wrote their own rules. And notice what those utility programs quietly admit. The grid's most expensive minutes are hot summer evenings, when every compressor in the state slams on at once. To cover that spike, the operators fire up the costliest plants they own. A neighborhood full of whole house fans erases that spike at the source. The rebate is not charity. It is the grid paying you to be cheaper than a power plant, and that tells you what your nighttime compressor hours really cost. Door 3, modern construction. New homes are scored on how airtight they are, and a big shuttered hole in the ceiling costs points on that test. So, builders seal the box, upsize the compressor, and hand the buyer the electric bill. Sensible rules, indifferent outcome. But here's what no salesman will ever put in the brochure. The cheapest cooling hour you will ever buy is the one where the outdoor air does the work. Now, if you're thinking the catch is winter, that a hole in your ceiling will bleed heat from November to March, that objection died for about $20. An insulated cover seals the fan opening from the attic side in October and comes off in May, and the better fans now ship with gasketed, motorized doors. Measured leakage through a properly covered fan is a rounding error next to what your ductwork already loses. None of this is hidden by villains. It is invisible by design, the way every simple fix is, because a system built to sell equipment cannot sell you the night. Your ceiling doesn't care about any of that. Cut the hole. So here is the build at current US retail. The fan itself is a 24-inch direct drive unit with a built-in ceiling shutter, about $90 at farm and hardware stores. Tractor Supply usually has one on the shelf. A quieter 30-inch belt drive runs closer to $150 if the budget allows. Add $15 of 14-gauge wire and a wall switch, $10 of lumber to frame the opening, and about $20 for the insulated winter cover. Most houses land between $130 and $200, complete and switched. The install is one honest Saturday. Find a central hallway ceiling and locate 2 joists with a stud finder. Cut the opening between them, never through them, so you touch no structure. Frame the rectangle with the lumber, set the fan on the frame, and wire it to the wall switch the same way you'd wire a light. Then, check your attic vents, because the air needs a way out. The rule of thumb is 1 square foot of clear vent opening for every 750 cubic feet per minute of fan. A $25 gable vent fixes any shortfall. If you can cut a straight line and wire a switch, you are qualified. Most documented installs take a weekend, and plenty finish in a day. 2 sizing notes save you from the classic mistakes. First, aim for 2 to 3 cubic feet per minute of fan for every square foot of living space. A 1,500 square foot house wants roughly a 3,000 cubic foot per minute unit. Bigger is not better if your attic can't exhaust it. Second, put the fan central, not over a bedroom door. You want it pulling from the whole house evenly, and you want its hum a room away from your pillow. Get those two right, and the system runs like it was always part of the house. One warning stands above all the others. Never run a whole house fan with the windows shut. A sealed house turns the fan into a vacuum strong enough to pull exhaust backward down the flue of a gas water heater or furnace. That means carbon monoxide in your living space. Windows first, fans second, every single time, and mount a carbon monoxide alarm in the hallway regardless. Make it a house rule that the switch never gets touched until a window is up, and teach it to everyone tall enough to reach either one. Give it a rest on heavy pollen days and wildfire smoke days too, because whatever is in the outside air is coming inside with it. For sizing and venting details, the Department of Energy's free Energy Saver Guide covers it in plain language. Now, the honest limits. This is a dry night machine. It shines wherever summer nights fall below 70 degrees, which covers most of the country. It struggles along the Gulf Coast, where a July night can sit at 80 degrees and dripping. Muggy night air brought indoors is real humidity you will feel the next day. The budget direct drive fans hum, so spend up on belt drive if you're noise sensitive, and the winter cover is not optional. Skip it, and you will quietly heat your attic all January. One more honest note. This machine replaces the air conditioner's hours, not its existence. On a rare, stagnant 90-degree night, you will still want the compressor as backup, and it will be fresher for all the nights it sat idle. Respect those limits, and this machine gives you decades. So run the two numbers one last time. 40 to 50 cents an hour to refrigerate the same recycled air, or 5 cents an hour to flood the house with the real thing, while the attic dumps its heat overboard. One of those paths involves a financed compressor and a service contract. The other one is a rectangle, a switch, and a Saturday. And a century of American summers already ran this experiment for you, before a single residential compressor existed. The night has always been the largest air conditioner on Earth. The only question left is whether there's a hole in your ceiling to let it in. So here's the question, and I genuinely like to know where you land. Once the sun goes down, are you sealed and conditioned, or open windows and moving air? One line in the comments, windows or compressor. Subscribing and sharing is the fastest way to keep knowledge like this from staying buried, and it costs you nothing. Next time, a $40 loop that pulls 60-degree air out of the ground your house is already sitting on. The coldest room you own is about to start paying rent.